Okay, good afternoon, world. Okay, it's a wonderful Sunday afternoon, and it's the first day of the month, August 1. Okay, so welcome to our
Wonderful
new
Sunday afternoon.
topic. Oops. Our topic for this month, okay, is a very intriguing one because as we have said last time, okay, our topic for the month are those parents with special
Because
needs
as we
na
have
mga anak. Okay? So we will be featuring a few parents who are kind enough to share with us and to educate us, no? So that we can also grow with them and maybe we can also help, no? Those who are also in the who are also in the same boat with them. Okay, so stay tuned with us, and hope you can, or not hope, but feel free to share and to ask your questions later on. Okay, but before we start, okay, before we start our discussion this afternoon, I would like to say a very special thank you to a dear friend, okay, Mr. June Frondosa. Ayan. June Frondosa. He was so kind enough to share with us, no, our or yeah, to share with us his talent and his skill in video editing, no? So yung video po na nakita ninyo earlier when we started, okay, that is through the courtesy of Mr. June Frondosa, no?
earlier
So
when we
thank you very
started.
much, June. And sige, eto, patugtog natin ulit. No? Maikli lang naman siya, okay? Oops, parang ayaw. Okay. Yeah, wait. Ibalik natin ang konti. Okay. Okay, now so that was just a simple teaser, or not just a teaser, but starting today, okay, that would be
Okay, now
our
so
official intro or program ID, and would like to thank once again Mr. June Frondosa. Ayan, kapatid, maraming maraming salamat po. Okay, now we would like also to share this privilege, no, for those OFWs, no, for those our friends who are abroad, mga OFW natin, no, we have received a few concerns, and we would like also to extend this opportunity that you can ask our ambassador on September 19 and 26. We are so privileged to have with us Ambassador Garibay. Okay? If you have watched us last Sunday, no, siya po yung asawa ni Tita Omega, and he was so kind enough to accept our invitation on September 19 and 26. No? So if you have your questions, no, sa mga hindi pa po nakabigay ng mga questions nila, no, you can simply write your question on the comment box below, okay? And you can also PM us, no, sa mga kaibigan po natin dyan sa Facebook. Okay? And reminds me, hindi pa pala ako naka-live sa Facebook. Okay? So you can also drop us a message sa Facebook, ang mga friends natin sa Facebook. No? Or yung mga hindi naman, you can feel free to drop your message on the comment section below, and we will surely, okay, and we'll note them down and share them and ask them kay Ambassador Garibay, okay, on September 19 and 26. Okay? Anyway, as we usually do, my dear friends, before we discuss our topic this afternoon, let us start with some words of wisdom. Okay? Our verse for today is taken on the book of Philippians. Nasa inyo yung aking share screen. Yan. Na-share screen ko siya kanina. Okay. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. And it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Okay, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This is the word of the Lord. Every day in our lives, my dear friends, we are confronted with a lot of issues. Diba? Every day in our lives, we are confronted with so many things that would always allow us or that would always demand for decision making. Diba? So meaning to say, every day of our lives, from the moment we wake up to the moment we sleep at night, we make decisions, right? And sometimes these decisions would make us think not only twice or several times, no, but these decisions would haunt us even after we have made these decisions. And these decisions are always rooted or would always reflect our faith, right? This would always reflect our faith. These decisions that we are making, or these choices that we are making every day of our life, is a manifestation of our faith. How strong our faith is, how strong our conviction is, right? And so, my dear friends, as we continue to face the uncertainties of life, as we continue to make decisions, we should always ask ourselves, is this what the Lord wants me to have? Or is this what the Lord wants me to decide? Huh? Or, because sometimes we also pray. Sometimes, not just sometimes, but we always pray. We always read our Bibles. Sometimes, not always, sometimes, okay? But I'm sure we always pray, right? We always ask the Lord to guide us, to help us. But why is it that many times along the way, we would not hear the voice of the Lord answering us? Because we chose not to listen. Because we chose not to not to hear him, right? It's our decision. Okay? As we continue to face the pandemic, my dear friends, life is getting tougher. Life is getting more difficult. We have heard or we are hearing in the news that there are countries who are having what do you call this? May mga rallies, okay, pro and against the pandemic protocols or wearing of mask or whatever or vaccinations. We can hear different angles. We can hear different memos being released, and sometimes these memos of our LGUs would make us think, huh? Is this really needed or what? But before we criticize, before we object, okay, let us, I think, first ask ourselves, what have I done? Am I part of the problem or am I part of the solution? Right? Because if we are part of the problem, then I think it's about time for us, if we really want a better life, let us be part of the solution. Okay? And as again, our our decisions, our choices in life is always a reflection of what we believe in. Or it can also be a reflection of our priorities in life. And let me close our sharing time or our devotional this time with this little poem. Okay, hindi ko po alam kung sino po ang author nito, but I'd like to share it with you. And it says, priorities. I asked God to grant me patience. God said, no. Patience is a byproduct of tribulations. It isn't granted, it is earned. I asked God to give me happiness. God said, no. I give you blessings. Happiness is up to you. I asked God to spare me pain. God said, no. Suffering draws you apart from the worldly cares and brings you closer to me. I asked God to make my spirit grow. God said, no. You must grow on your own, but I will prune you to make you fruitful. I asked God for all things that I might enjoy life. God said, no, I will give you life so that you may enjoy all things. I asked God to help me love others as much as God loves me. God said, ah, finally, you have the idea. Stop telling stop telling God how big your storm is. Instead, tell your storm how big your God is. Again, stop telling God how big your storm is. Instead, tell your storm how big your God is. Indeed, my dear friends, as we continue to face life, as we continue to face the uncertainties of life, many of us have big storms. No? Just like our topic for this month. Just like our topic for this month, parents who have kids that have special needs. And I'm sure you can just relate because we have some parents who do not just have one child, but two children who have special needs. No? Sometime during the month, we will encounter or we will have one of our guests having two kids na may mga special needs. Okay? But how do we treat them? How do we treat them? Years back, we would somehow say or ridicule these kids. Or maybe there are parents before who would keep these kids from society because the choice is they are afraid that that the society won't accept them. But a few years back, I understand somewhere in Manila, they already have this program that some establishments are accepting kids with special needs. No? So this afternoon, my dear friends, we are just so happy that we have one mother who is kind enough to share to us and inspire us and allow us to grow together. No? This person is close to me, not only parang extended family, but she was one of my best mentors in high school. Okay, and this is also one of our teachers before that really gave us not really gave us but challenged us to memorize the periodic table. Siyempre, 'di ba, sa chemistry dapat importante ang periodic table, 'di ba? So, sa gitna ng classroom malaki yung ano niya, yung periodic table niya. And chemistry to most of us when you're in high school, especially to me, is parang napaka-Greek, napakahirap, but our teacher would always have this teacher, okay, would always have her special way to teach us in a motherly way. That's why hopefully ang mga kabatch ko mamaya can also join us here For sure they would love and miss this teacher of ours. Well, I could go on and on about her. Okay, she has a daughter. Okay, na may special need. I do not know the exact term na ginagamit today, but we will just ask her. We will just ask mom later on to tell us what is the term. Now, I don't want to call. I don't want to say the name that we use to call them because it is kind of what do you call this? Not so good in the ears, right? So, without further ado, my dear friends, help me in welcoming a beloved teacher of mine, Mrs. Evelina Solas Buenafe.
I'm very privileged and very grateful.
Yan. Good afternoon, ma'am. Welcome sa Banding with
Good
Reelj.
afternoon.
Kamusta ka na po? How are you?
Very well by God's grace.
Yes, ayan. Kitang-kita naman, ano? We can see the beauty and the joy with Ma'am Buenafe. Okay? Uh, um, how is, it's been so long na we have not bonded, and sometimes we are meeting sa streets na lang, ano? But how are things doing on your end? Like, have you missed teaching because it's been so long na?
Uh, of course, I miss teaching, but I enjoyed my gardening and household work now.
Ah, gardening and household. Okay. So I would presume, ma'am, that this gardening makes you busy nowadays.
Yes.
Yan. Okay. Yes. Okay. Once again, friends, for those who have just tuned in to us, especially sa Facebook, no, feel free to drop in your questions and your comments, no. Uh, Ma'am, I know years back, ang term that we used to refer sa case ni MM is mongoloid. Pero subong,
Yes.
they have this new term. Can you educate us on that?
Down syndrome.
Down
Special
syndrome.
children.
Special children with Down syndrome.
Yes.
Yun. Okay, because like, well, when I was also talking with another guest natin, she would always tell me, "No, don't use that word anymore. We use this word." I said, "Well, okay." Now, okay. So without further ado, I know we would have a lot of questions kay mom. Okay, to start the ball rolling, mom. When you were MM is the second or the eldest
The second child.
child, right? Ano si gani magulang, lipat naman ko. Ay, thank you for assisting si ma'am. Okay. So ma'am, while you are pregnant with MM, okay, do you have any idea or hunch that she would come out like this?
Um, I asked God for a normal child and I expected a normal one.
Mm,
3 months pregnant, I fainted in my chemistry room. Good enough. Mr. Dromal was there to help me. So he brought me to the clinic
mm,
and I recovered quite long because I fainted around 3 o'clock in my chemistry class with
mhm,
the sulfur experiment. Then that experiment started in the morning for one section, followed
mhm,
by the other, followed by the other up to the afternoon.
mhm,
So maybe the sulfur fumes
mhm.
uh, was not good for me because I was 3 months pregnant then, which is quite uh, the hard case month for pregnant woman.
Okay. But like, were there instances when when you look back on that situation wherein I could have I could have stood in the door so that I would not, inhale the fumes that much, or what? Or no regrets at all.
I did that, but we cannot avoid helping the students set up
Mm,
and then make the work better than
mm,
just leaving them alone.
mm,
So I have to assist them.
mm.
And besides, the high school then do not have chemical stock room. So all the chemicals were in my room.
Oh yeah, right. Uh, I remember during our time, yeah, the chemicals are just in the shelves above the the wall, the windows. Yeah. But no, fast forward tayo. Fast forward when you already have MM. You know, how did you cope up, or how was the process of accepting your second child with this kind of syndrome?
Maybe I'll give a little background about my delivery.
Yes,
Will
ma'am.
that be okay?
Yeah, sure, sure. Yes, ma'am.
Uh-uh. It was June 11, 1980, 41 years ago, when I was admitted at Iloilo Mission Hospital labor room,
Mm.
8:30 in the morning up to 4:30 in the morning of the next day.
Oh.
So it's a long labor. They thought it was placenta previa case. That's why I have difficulty. And then on June 12, 5:35 a.m., I gave birth to MM. Her height, her length, and her width are normal, not a case of because Down syndrome or special children have lesser weight and shorter length. But she's 19 and a half long, and she's 5 and 2 ounces heavy. So that's quite normal. Sad to say that during that time, my physician did not inform me that I have a special child. It was 2 days later that my younger sister informed me. So I feel double sadness and mixed feeling when I know that. But I did not question God why.
Mhm.
I only said, Lord, I asked for a normal child. Now you gave me a special one. And so with that, uh, I know that where I'm at is for a reason, and everything is not an accident. And I know it was part of a greater plan of God. So believing that the mercy of God is great, and, that, and his compassion is beyond measure, I dismiss the thought that are negative and trust everything to God. I know he has his plan,
Mhm.
and it is not because of any reason, but I know it is because he wanted to be glorified
Mhm.
through him.
Yes. Indeed, na God be glorified. And that's why, sabi nga natin kanina sa Philippians, no, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes.
But ma'am, as MM is growing, how difficult was it to rear her up?
It's difficult to rear a special child harder than a normal one. But as I said before the birth of MM, God prepared everything. What I mean is, He just was there to help me so that it will not be very hard. Uh, MM, number one is MM is only mild in her Down syndrome.
Mhm.
So she would be taught things. She is very teachable, and it's not really very hard in terms of learning. And number two, provision of God. I said He prepared everything for me. My sister, the youngest one, teaching at SPED Iloilo,
Mhm.
graduated from West Visayas State University a few years before I gave birth to MM,
Mhm.
around 3 years. So God's provision. She helped me take care of my child because he is a special ed teacher. And
Mhm.
when we were discharged from the hospital, God gave me another provision to make it easy to take care of MM.
Mhm.
My second cousin, a nurse a nurse at Iloilo Mission Hospital, visited me, and knowing that MM was special, she volunteered to bathe her every day for 3 months until we are ready to take over. God's wonderful provision.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then uh, it's God has His own way of giving me help. Number maybe number four provision is I have friends, I have my family who help me take care of my child, especially when I am at school. Lola and Lolo was there to supervise the helper. And then friends gave me articles on how to handle Down syndrome to make my work easy.
Mhm. So, ma'am, with this provisions, I am very sure you could you could still say God is good.
Yes, God is very good.
Yes. Okay. Now, before I throw the next question, I would like to say good afternoon to our friends on Facebook, si Jerry Tumaring down in Mindanao, si Ann Picoy Palmes, and Marvin Escala. Thank you very much for joining us sa, sa program this afternoon. No? So, for those also who have just tuned into us, if you cannot type your question here sa YouTube, if you're shy, wag po kayong mahiya. No? You can just buzz us up sa Facebook. Okay? And let's all grow together. Ma'am, question. Because you said earlier that it was not easy. No? So, when when you knew about it, as you have said earlier, my double frustration, double sadness, right? But how about the I? For sure, I during that time was still very young, and maybe she cannot still understand the case ni MM, you know. So was it for sure it was difficult to make her understand during that time, and plus when both of them are growing, uh how how difficult was it for these two girls?
We told MM, uh, we told I before, after we have MM home, that her
Mhm.
sister is special, very, very special. And I know what is special. So I said, uh, let's help her so that she will be like you.
Mhm.
So I accepted that on heart value.
Mhm.
No problem with I concerning MM.
That's nice. So there was no rivalry between them, considering that most of your attention would be towards MM because she has a special need and I is a normal one.
No, none at all. Because I was made to help us take care of MM. So
That's
she is the caretaker of MM.
mhm.
So every time we play with MM, I play with I
Mhm.
because they are only 1 year apart.
Ah, oo,
So they are playmates.
playmates. Ah,
They're
okay.
playmates.
So somehow there is no sibling rivalry
None
between the
at all.
maswerte pala 'to, unlike the other normal kids, 'di ba? We could experience yung mga sibling rivalry and, something like that, but that is really, really a blessing. Ma'am,
That is why I said God is very good. He prepared everything for
mm,
the coming of MM.
yeah, okay. Now, before I throw the next question, before I forget, ma'am, what can you advise kasi considering sa growing stage ni MM, you know, what can you advise our young mothers or fathers or parents or families who have kids like this? What can you
Um,
advise on the mama, on the stage pa lang of first few months of their child?
it's very hard during the first 3 months or few months of MM at home because 1 month after birth, she had pneumonia. 2 months after, MM lost her total hearing.
Oh.
Then, 3 months after, she had fever, LBM,
Mhm,
and all the time during those months, she had skin allergy. So it's very hard.
mhm,
But I said, I gave everything to God.
mhm, mhm,
Prayer is the only answer.
mhm.
So uh, we take extra special care for MM.
So what would you advise, ma'am, sa mga parents who have this kinds of kids?
Focus on your child. Give special attention to your child. Treat your child as normal child. Love your child. Hug
Uh,
your child always.
I
And of course, don't pray without ceasing.
hug your child, play with your child. I think it also goes with even your child is normal.
And then, of course, you ask doctors what to
Mhm,
do. Tita Sha was there. Tita Sharon.
mhm.
She was with MM all the time.
Yeah.
She
At
helped
least
us a lot.
mm, at least now we have a lot of special doctors that can you know
Yes, yes.
that can take care and that can address, and we also have organizations that help parents with this kids, but ma'am, speaking of treat your child as a normal child, I remember, I think I was college that time when correct me if I'm wrong, si Ma'am Elma ang suspend, right?
Elsa.
Si
Ma'am
Elsa.
Elsa. Mm.
Ma'am Elsa. I think she taught us a university church before nga young people how to sign language,
Yes.
how to sign language, and uh, they brought some special kids with them. So did you also enroll MM in the school? Or
MM had her grade one instead up to when she graduated in her sequence. But MM was with Mom De Leon at nursery CPU and kindergarten. So her exposure as if she's normal. Mom De
Okay.
Leon, very good teacher. Maybe she already pre-lectured the classmate on how to treat MM. And
Uh-huh.
so with other teachers, Ma'am Sonsa, Ma'am Landero, and Ma'am Lopez. So
Uh-huh.
her classmates treat her as if she's really normal, like them.
That's nice. Okay. So I was about to ask, was there a discrimination or a ridicule with the classmates, but you already answered me na she was treated normal. Okay.
Yes.
Pero like,
But when she's grade one,
mhm,
SPED caters all kinds of children. They're
mhm,
very bright or intelligent. Then they have the blind, they have the mute and the hearing impaired. They have
mhm,
um, low learners, slow learners.
no
They
learners.
have special children like MM. So she
Mhm,
was exposed almost to all kinds. No ridicule in SPED students there.
uh-huh.
No students in SPED.
From considering MM had her kindergarten days at CPU where normal kids are, was there times that when she comes home and would complain on certain things being like a regular kid?
None at all. She's
Really?
happy. That is why I said God prepared everything for the coming of MM.
Wow.
They were together with Jaja Somo.
Jajak?
Oh,
Jajak?
together in, yes, Jojo Sonsa.
Ah, okay, si Pilo.
So they're very good because their parents are our friends.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, they treat MM as normal child.
Nice.
They love MM. They go always with MM.
Yeah, I
De La
remember.
Cruz, si Pip De La Cruz, they're
Skip,
together.
skip.
Yes,
Ah, okay. Okay, yeah, because I remember, sa VCS before sa church,
VCS.
we
They
would have,
attend VCS also
mm,
and Sunday
yeah,
school.
yes. So we would have MM, and we would always have fun with her, and she's a sweet little girl. Okay. I know, ma'am, teaching these kids are really, really very difficult. It needs a lot of patience because I think I'm not so sure it was in education or somewhere along the line before I could not remember or sa chaplaincy. It was in the chaplaincy program before sa CPU. In the campus ministry, I had a chance to teach sa SPED. I think daw si Ma'am Solas man to gani ang nag-help sa akon to have this experience. 1 month experience sa SPED, and my 1 month felt like 1 year. The 30-minute the 30-minute class I had with one section would sometimes make me feel like I had exhausted 2 hours of
Yes.
effort. So how difficult is it? What kind of strategy did you use with with MM so that she will feel like a normal kid?
Uh, what I did with I did with MM. And together, the- I'll teach I numbers. MM is listening.
Mhm.
I have a lot of exposure for MM. And everybody in the house have extra 100 more patients for MM.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when the nursery rhymes are being played to MM was there. I is teaching MM. When we have religious tapes or children's tapes for MM, also receive the same treatment. So they're almost together. That is why I said God's blessing is very great. My hardship was not really hardship at all
Mm-hmm.
because everybody in the family cooperated. During the kinder day one time,
Mm-hmm.
uh, MM was made to memorize a short poem.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, "My name is number five." And then when we teach MM that, so that during the final show, she can do it alone, we posted that uh, short poem on the walls, comfort room, kitchen, mirrors, tables, everywhere. So when I am holding IMM, I repeated and repeated the poem. When she is with Lola, Lola repeats the same thing. When she goes to the other portion of the house, like bedroom, there is still something you can read and teach her about it. Until during the final day at Rose Memorial Hall, that was Kinder Day, Ma'am De Leon wanted to know if MM really memorized her part.
Mm-hmm.
And Mom, uh, I think, ran from the backstage to the stage that's to pick up MM. So MM did it nicely. She memorized her part. And the audience, knowing that MM is special, the applause was very great at Rossi Memorial Hall Auditorium. And one kinder classmate of MM asked her mother, "Ay, nanay, why is the applause for MM very, very loud? In my case, it is not loud. It is not like the applause for MM. Of course, it is not because uh, they are expecting less for
Mm-hmm.
MM, but MM showed it nicely.
More.
So the
Yes.
applause was very great. So I think God is so good.
Uh, yeah. But ma'am, was there a time, no? Was there a time that MM and I quarreled?
Sure, sure. They
Okay.
do.
So, or or was there a time that you really got mad na your patience was really tested with MM? So when they quarreled, what did
I
you do?
treat MM and I the same. I spunk I first and spunk MM next and tell her that what you are doing is wrong, wrong, wrong. So the word wrong there and the word good, they know already what is good and what is wrong, what is bad. So
Mm.
I received the first spanking, next MM.
Okay. And who would usually start the argument? I or MM? As you can remember
Um,
in those times.
Siguro I is doing the first, or sometimes MM is trying to grab something from my eye. So the
Uh-huh.
quarrel starts.
Okay. But at least it's not often or it's not
It's not
always.
open. It's not
It's not.
always. It's not
Mhm.
always.
That's a very nice one. No? So ma'am, again, second advice. Okay. At least medyo stage by stage ang advice, ma'am, no? Parang hindi malipat si kalbo.
So
Okay.
my first advice was
Ang second advice,
surrender your child. Surrender your child to God, of course,
yes.
because He knows the condition of the child.
Mm. So,
Number two,
yeah, second
we have
advice,
number two already. Love them. Be
uh,
extravagant with your love.
uh, ang sa times naman yung mga when the kid is already growing, no? When the kid is already growing, when the kid is, trying to test your patience and have a hard time with other siblings, what would be your advice to the parents?
I I seldom experienced that because when MM was grade 1, she was with Elsa, my younger sister, at SPED.
Mhm.
They go to school 6:30. They go home almost past 7:30 or 8 because they have to go around Iloilo just to expose MM to the books at National Bookstore or the food at Jollibee or go around the city just
Mhm.
window shopping. So that is what Elsa is doing. Exposure, exposure, exposure. If she had field trips with a student, MM goes with the field trip. If she had a meeting with her teachers,
Mhm.
MM sit down at the back and listen in the meeting. She even brought MM to the convention center at Manila to attend the convention on special children for teachers. MM, of course, was out of place, but Elsa made it that she is on place. She paid for MM's registration. She pays for MM's food. Just MM will be accommodated. You see, convention, but
Whoa.
MM was there.
I was I was about to ask, was there a time that you were ashamed of MM na you don't want to you don't want her to go out, but with that na answer niyo na po, she was very well exposed.
No,
So
no.
yeah, she was
From
very
the
well
time
exposed.
her 1 month old, when she was offered publicly to God by
Mhm.
Reverend Gabio, I
Mhm.
invited some of my students to be Ninoy and Ninang,
Mhm.
Denzel, Resela, uh, uh, Diadem.
Mhm.
They all understood who and what is a special child.
Mhm.
So I invited them in and asked for their advices, and they
Mhm.
were so nice. I never felt ashamed of my child because I know she is my child.
Mhm.
And I know I asked God, God, I ask for a normal child. You give him a special one. So you help me. You help me, Lord, because I do not know how to take care of my child. And
Mhm.
so never in our lifetime have we been ashamed for her. 2 months old, she cannot even carry her head up straight. We bring her already to the city because there is no COVID yet at the time. So the owner of supermarket Iloilo
Mhm.
noticed her immediately and asked us that our child is special. I said, yes, yes, that's why we are carrying her around so that she will be exposed.
Mhm.
Because we notice there are so many children in Iloilo who are special, but they are kept.
Mhm.
So at one stage of MM's elementary life at SPED, Doctora Bacalyanque organized Faith and Light community. They are for special children. So many special children who have been kept were out and know the the advantage of
Mhm.
exposing your child.
That's
So
nice.
MM was always there, carried, attend weddings, attend parties, even though people are looking at us, dead ma lang, dead ma.
Bakit lang?
No pake, no pake.
Correct.
We continue just because we know exposure is very important for our child. So one time, we dined at one restaurant here at Iloilo. MM was seated doing her own holding of spoon, fork, glass, and then alone she goes to the comfort room and back and then talk. and eat. Then suddenly, a woman seated on the back table approached us. I said, Mom, special? I said, yes. And she knows how to behave. We said, yes. She knows how to behave. Very little pa siya. Ganon din ang training.
Mhm.
So we expose her. If there is a wedding of a relative, we ask them to make flower girl. If there is another wedding there of another relative, we ask them, will be a bridesmaid. And then during parties or during school affairs, is always there. She is permitted to go to hotels to attend the boo. She is permitted to attend and go with her tita in Eat All You Can.
Mhm.
Uh, she even was first. I haven't done Eat All You Can before. Told me, Nay, Nami, eat all you can. It's because her tita will always expose her. Then one
Mhm.
time, I am I am very reluctant to use the elevator if I am alone
Mhm.
because my mind says, supposing there will be a brownout and I stay there, what will I do? But told me, Nanay, let's go together. And she operated the elevator switch there because he was told by Elsa how to do it, my sister.
Mhm.
So I taught her on one thing, she taught me on other things. So she exposed me to the elevator, how to do it. And then she said, Nanay, if something happens, there is a telephone.
Oh.
So you see, she knows better.
Oh. Yeah. From
She is good in using her tablet better than I can. She
really.
knows how to operate, to use
Mm.
the camera and be a
Okay.
camera woman because
Okay, so so
her
loves
auntie
to
is
oo,
loves
a good
photography.
photographer. Yes, oo.
Oo.
Yeah,
And
oo.
then she knows how to sign language. So the students of Elsa who are deaf ask Elsa, Mom, is she deaf? Then my sister would say, no, why sign language? Then my sister would answer, because she is like you, she knows sign language. So
Oh.
if
Yeah.
there are if there are uh, people or students of Elsa we meet downtown,
Mm.
would always greet them by having her sign language.
Alright. From well,
Exposure.
yes, exposure, correct.
Exposure gid
Well,
exposure gid.
yes, oh, which really helps a lot. No? So to
Yes.
all parents out there, no, to all parents out there, you have heard that one secret ni Ma'am Buenafe is exposure. Number two, exposure. Number
Number
three,
three,
exposure.
exposure.
No,
If,
so
if
exposure,
you only have the money, let her travel. Let her
experience.
travel. Mhm.
Yes, no. Di ba may COVID, budlay mag-travel.
May COVID lang galing.
May COVID na
But
galing siguro
going
sabi
around the
ko,
city is not
hmm,
very expensive.
yeah, right,
Esplanades,
correct.
go to different restaurants. You don't
Yes,
need to eat. You only
mhm,
have to sit down.
correct, correct. So ma'am, while MM is growing up, pagdadalaga ni MM, was it, who has more fears? Like for example, I know a father, okay, I know, hindi ko lang pag-i-mention, I know a father nga he also has a special need na daughter, and he told me to, while my daughter is growing up, now that her period, now
Mm,
that she already has a period, I am more tense. I am
mm.
more afraid because she
Yes.
is now a young lady. So the father would be more protective. The father would
Mm-mm.
be more, uh, kung pwede pa lang hindi madula sa mata
Mm-mm.
ang
Oo.
bata, But in your case kay MM,
We are
uh,
also
good
protective.
future.
We are also protective, but
Mm,
we allow her to go and adventure without her knowing that we are watching her. So Elsa taught her that if you go to a mall and you are lost, go
mm,
to the counter, ask for the telephone, and call us because he knows our number. She can memorize that. And she befriends uh, people at the
mm.
store or the mall.
Ma'am, and if I may cut you there, MM is very, very friendly. No,
Yes, it's
I am
friendly.
a witness of that and experience of that sa church before sa university church. So while on her teenage years, okay, on her teenage years and 20s, kaya at those age ang iyang mentality is lower than the regular one, that she is very, very friendly. Was there sometimes a threat na other people would make friends with her and bring her somewhere or something like that?
No, we told her, and it is always repeated and repeated, and we let her repeat it. If there
Mhm,
are strangers,
mhm,
it is always no. It is always no. And
mhm,
never go with anybody that you do not really are familiar with.
mhm,
So MM can go alone in the mall, but she is conscious that if you get your handkerchief from the pocket, she will turn away because it might be chloroform in the handkerchief
yeah,
to
mhm.
replace, and then she cannot do anything. Then when
Alright.
she goes to comfort room, she is also told, be sure you look first around
Mhm.
before you get in.
Ay, that's nice. So, ma-fast forward kita ma-fast forward kita. There was a time that I met, I don't know if it's you with MM or si I. I think it was you and MM I saw sa Supermart
Mhm.
during that time, and then I asked her, "M, what are you doing? What is this groceries for?" And she told me that she has this little store, like Changi
Mhm.
Changi, you know.
Yes, yes.
So, how did this Changi Changi ni MM help her?
One time, she said, Nanay, may work ka, may salary ka. Tatay has money also. Manang I is working. What will I do? I do not have money. So when we heard that, uh, there was an invitation from the owner of Iloilo Supermart if she'd
Mhm.
like to help. Nang
Oh,
casual lang, just bagger or somebody to help the customers. But when
mhm.
I heard it, she said, no, Emma, you stand there for a long time and then it's hard work. I'll give you capital. You uh, you should have your own store. You are
Oh,
the owner, you are the president, you are the manager, and you can do anything you want with your store.
si I
So,
nag-suggest.
CII.
Mhm.
So, MM said yes. And then that store belongs to her for her
Oh.
training in her reading and
Mhm,
training in math. Because if you are out of school, you need repetition, repetition, law of
correct.
exercise.
Mhm.
So we have that store for MM.
Alright.
So when you meet us at the grocery store, I sit down on the chair near the senior's corner,
Oo.
and she get her own card and go around and look for the things she need in her store. Then If the cart is full,
Full.
she'll go to me and said, Nanay, I have to pay this. I do not have money. Utang ng anay. Until all of this will be bought and then the money will be given to you. MM
Okay.
is so kind and MM is very friendly lang.
Mm. Na, ah,
If you cover, real, if you cover her face
mhm,
and you hide her and
uh-huh.
listen only to what she is talking and telling you, daw sobra pa sa abogada.
Really?
Sometimes that is where my impatience will come in because of all the patience you have,
Uh-huh.
then she can answer, she can argue, she can
Really?
give her reason, she will tell you whom to vote and why
Mhm.
during
Hmm.
election
Ah, ma'am,
because
before
he's
I
vote because he's voting also.
in voting also. Ah,
Yes,
okay. Ma'am, before we proceed, Lara Grino, can you remember her?
yes. He's a nice
She
student.
says, she says hi and nagpadala siya sang heart sa Facebook.
Okay, thank you. I've heard na your son is in the hospital and we have been praying for the father
Mm.
of
She's
Lara.
listening now, ma'am, sa Facebook. She's now listening sa Facebook. Would you like to talk to her? Would you like to say something to her?
Hi, Lara.
Yeah,
Nice students in high school.
yeah. Hindi
One
siya
of my
kakita
best.
hindi siya kakita sa imo sa Facebook, kay voice mo lang ang mabatian sa
Okay
Facebook.
lang. Oo.
That's the face. So, amo nang isa sa mga disadvantage kung sa Facebook lang sila because they cannot see your face unless they would go sa YouTube and ask sa Facebook. Ayan, Lars. Okay. I think si Lara now is in the US. Oo. So anyway, ma'am, nakadto kita sa love life ni MM. Okay. I know si Ai may mga crush ina siya because Ai is also a beautiful lady. By the way, ko kabati nga may nangaluyag kay Ai. Ay na, yun. Okay. What was there? Thank you for praying ko no ma'am hambal ni
Oo. Lara. Oo.
thank you ko no for praying. Yan. So, while uh, he is out of the hospital na kano ma'am.
Very good answered prayer.
Mm. Yan. Yeah. So, ma'am, sang tangga dinalaga si MM. No, for sure, like, there would also be times na I would have suitors maybe in your house or receive flowers, something like that, no? Was there a time that MM would also say, "Ah, kuya wala," or si amo ni crush ko, si amo ni cute?
The MM have plenty of crushes, movie actors,
Uh-huh,
classmates. And
uh-huh,
then one time we said, kadugay, why did naka-call ang imo nga classmate, ang friend mo, kay nagatawganay sa telephone sila mo.
mhm.
Uh, then MM will say, ah, ang crush ko na, that was 20 years ago. Never mind. Laon na ako na isubong. Laon na ako na isubong. Then we'll tell her, Ging, mamana ka? Then siya said, hindi ko na, mamana ako. Special child ako. Base may special pa nga mabot, hindi na lang.
Kaulumol. So, at
Ay,
least now
kapanigid.
yeah, so there was I
Hindi
could
siya
some
kauyon man nga may migo si Manang niya. That is why
arag
naglaon. Yan, Manang, malaon tayo nga duwa. Hindi ka magnubyo. Hindi ka magpakadto di.
Aragboy, ti ano na lang ako ro si ay, ti ano na lang na bi, okey ka man sana,
Blessed singleness.
blessed singleness, sige lang ay, total si Manong Real single man, so okey lang na siya, single but happy. No, but ma'am, I would somehow really say that you did a good job. It was It was really a joy, although basically I have seen and experienced playing and interacting with MM, and spent few years sa UC kada sa the school, kada VCS with her. But syempre, being with her in the house is also different. And before we totally close, tapos namang isa ka oras, no, kadasig lang. Before we totally close, is there anything you would like to
Before you
challenge?
close,
Yes, ma'am.
MM requested nga bisan isa lang ka picture niya ipakita sa imo.
Oh, sure, sure. Sige,
Oh,
sige,
ito
sige.
ay hindi bisan din kami exposure. This is one of her exposure together with President Ramos.
Ay, tani kay ina ay ginpasa mo sa akon ay kay gin-screenshot kag ipakita. Tuloy ding ilong mo. Sige ma'am, i-closer, ma'am, i-closer be. Ayan. Hindi, ay
May upod man
extra
sila ni nga
extra
wa
kada ay
galing diri.
may extra kada nga cellphone. Can you get a quick picture na sa cellphone? Kung may extra kada nga cellphone, get a quick picture, i-send mo sa akon sa Messenger, i-download ko subong and then let's show it here.
Dayon may isa pa siya nga favorite niya nga picture. Real, may favorite siya nga picture. Pag-baptize niya si Pastor Harold ang nag-baptize.
Hindi siya kita, ma'am. Patunga-tunga, ma'am, to your left. Sige pa, a little bit
Oh,
more. A little bit more, ma'am.
oh.
Mga how old ni siya, ma'am?
16 siguro.
Oh, okay.
Si Pastor Feby ang ah kuan sa iya baptismal study.
Uh-huh.
Kag si
Okay.
Pastor Harold ang nag-ano.
I
Kaya,
have a quick picture. Have a quick
kag
picture. Kag i-send sa akon.
she is very proud gid nga ipakita sa imo kay sang elementary siya sa SPED. Pirmi
Ay,
lang siya first
wow.
honor.
Ay,
Pirmi lang
wow.
siya first honor.
That's nice. Wait, it's downloading. Okay, let's share the picture. Uh, is i-share ta ang picture. Okay. Parang makita how beautiful MM is. Yan. There you have it, friends. Ari si MM. Amo na siya. Padako-dakoon. Ayan. Mayo, pati nakapapicture kay President Ramos, ha? Oh, okay. And then this one is for the baptismal niya. Okay. Sige ma'am, while I am downloading the pictures, is there anything ma'am na you would like to advise or yeah, mga tips nimo sa mga parents who have kids nga may special needs?
Sa mga parents, hindi gid ninyo pagtagua ang anak ninyo nga special. Kay dayon be proud that you are a special mom because you have a special child. Kay hindi tanan nga mom ginagaan sa special children. Ang balaan sang Ginoo nga makatatap sa ila amo ang ginatagaan. So, mom or dad, love your child and never forget to lay hands on them and pray for them. Kaya ang mga special children, kung kisaan nakulbaan kita magpalakat sa ila, but we need to train them independently. Kabalo sila magpanilig, kabalo mangugas pinggan, all household work, kabalo magtatap sang ila kaugalingon, kabalong may relation sa iba na kabataan, friendly lang. Kag look for work for them. Look for work. Para may ilawan sila nga source of income. Ti ano na lang nasa ulihi ko na hindi gid sila akabalo. Bisan himuon na na ni tita niya manuhugas pinggan. Kung di sa kabalo mag-independent, huul gid siya sa society. So kung kabalo siya, she can help. Kag dayon na nang ianuhon taman sila, trainingon taman sila. Although we always think of good, we also have to acquaint them with bad.
Mhm.
Para nga mabalaan nila ang duha ka opposite. Hindi
Mhm.
lang kay puro lang nami lang ini, kuan ini. Tanawon man niya kay kung may putot, may mataas mo. Kung
Mm.
may putate, may maitom.
Mm.
Kung may gwapa, may hindi jutay nga gwapa. Daw, amo na balang pangabuhi. So, kuno ay
Mhm.
nakita, they should know what to do to take care of themselves. Amo lang
Yes.
gina. And please, always lay hand on your child and pray for them. Kaya kung mag-pray ka bala, daw lain ang feeling mo. Magsiling
Mhm.
ka nga, Lord, hindi ko ni kabalong mo. Imo na lang ini obligasyon, Lord, para sa akon, Lord. You
Mhm.
gave me this child. You are to take care of this child. Amo lang din na ang importante. Itinambal ko naman ang love, expose,
Mhm.
give them work, train them to be independent, and pray for them. You should be very proud that you are having a special child.
Yes, no. So here are the pictures kay Ina, no. MM is a constant honor student, no, sa school, and now 41 years old na si M. It makes me feel old na gid man niya, no. It makes me feel old nga 41 na gali si MM. Okay? And then this one is ang iyang baptismal earlier. Okay, with Reverend Harold Peña Serrada. And then, okay. So once again, Ma'am Lara would like to say thank you for your words of wisdom. And nasa Sweden, gali siya. She is in
Welcome, welcome.
uh,
I missed you a lot, Lara.
there. Okay. So with this, Ma'am, we would like to say thank you very much, and regards kay AMM. Okay. And hopefully that maybe in the next episodes not on in the future we could have MM join us in the next few episodes not on very soon. No? if if the mood requires, if the mood is okay. But anyway, please send our regards and hello love kay MM.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you,
Okay.
John. I am
Very much.
privileged kid.
So thank you very much, Mom, and have a great afternoon. I thank you very much, and God bless you. So, friends, there you have it. There you have it. Mom Buenafe. Ayan.
Thank you.
Okay. So, friends, now there we have it, straight from Mom Buenafe herself. The number one, I would just like to mention again, exposure. Uh, Treat them as a normal kid. Okay. And then above all, pray for them. Okay? Pray for them. And with this, my dear friends, as we continue to face the difficulties of life, I continue to invite you again, for another wonderful episode next Sunday. But next Sunday, we will not have special guest, our special guest on Sunday next week would not be parents who have special guests. Ma-time out kita, anay, no? Ma-time out kita. We would be having some friends from Taiwan who would be joining us next Sunday. But again, as we have mentioned earlier, for those for all our OFWs. Okay, if you have some concerns or questions, please don't forget or don't be shy to drop your questions there at the bottom. We are compiling our questions right now for Ambassador Garibay, who will be our guest next month. No? As some of you have requested that we would have some ambassadors, or when you saw Ambassador Garibay last weekend, so he was kind enough to be with us next month. No? So your questions, just leave your questions there sa bottom. Okay, or you could also PM me, mga friends sa Facebook. Okay, or my co-host, si Liza, si Mirna, okay, si Elaine. You can just PM them for your questions about the immigration or thing. And then, of course, we would like as well to say thank you. No, thank you to our friends who have also been helping us and sharing our blog. No, you can also feel free to visit their blogs. No? Si Ricky Namardo. Okay. If you are fond of music, okay, if you're fond of music, relaxing notes, we have J Hodilia TV. Okay, sa mga mahilig sa music. And of course, sa mga gamers naton, we have here KB62 Gaming. Okay, so these are just some friends who have been helping us in sharing our page to others. So thank you very much mga kapatid. Okay? So if you have not yet subscribed, my dear friends, don't forget to click the little link, okay, the little box there on the corner, okay? Subscribe and as well as click the notification bell so that you will be updated with our uh, posts and live coverage or live discussions natin, okay? So once again, no matter what happens, never give up because God can read each falling tear. He sees each heart that's needing cheer. He knows each path is hard and difficult, but never ever give up because God is always near. Good afternoon, and thank you very much to Mr. Rio Furukawa for our backdrop today. Keep safe and God bless.